Hi folks, Canadian Prepper here. So today we're going to do a thorough review of the emergency food supply from Mountain House, and we're also going to be announcing the winners of the Mountain House contest, so stay tuned.
One of the things I really like about these Mountain House packages, in addition to the fact that they taste awesome, is that they have these little wisdoms on the bottom, almost just like tips for camping and survival. So this one says, after you've devoured the contents of this pouch, recycle it by storing items within it that you don't want to get wet. So that's a cool tip.
Yep.
I will also say that they're a great fire starter. So
They are.
not necessarily if you already have a fire going, but if you have coals in there and you're trying to revitalize it, they work really great. Let's check out another one here. Leaves of free, let it be. Just saying. So
Poison
that's
ivy.
Poison ivy.
Yep.
Referring to poison ivy there. What else do we got? Not only will soap make you smell better, it can also help to relieve the itchiness of mosquito bites. So lots of interesting factoids that you don't, hear too often. So that's kind of cool.
Alright, so as many of you know, I don't do sugar-coated reviews, and I'm not going to do some glaring review of a product that I've been sent just because I've been sent that product for free, quote unquote. Although, as I've discussed before, nothing is free because these videos take a lot of time and resources to make. That said, I must say that I've never had such a pleasurable experience working with a company than has been the case with Mountain House. They've impressed me in almost every way, from the ease of networking with the company to the fast, prompt, in-depth responses I've had. Any questions that I've had, any concerns, any criticisms have all been fielded respectfully. I had a chance to test a lot of the entrees that they sent me in the 15-day food supply, and it should be known that they said they were going to send me a few samples, and I ended up getting a 14-day food supply. Then they offered to do a contest giveaway, which I'll be announcing the winners of at the end of this video. And so I was equally impressed with their generosity in that respect. So we're going to use the prepping food rating scale that I devised a few videos back. Like I said, this hasn't been perfected yet. I wanted to fine-tune it and bring in all the recommendations that I had from you guys, my subscribers, that you left on that last video, but I just haven't had the time yet. That in itself took me a long time to produce, and it's going to take a long time to refine and get it where I want it to, but I'm still going to use it and apply it to the best of my ability to the Mountain House that we have here today. So if you recall, I have 10 dimensions and one wildcard dimension, and we're going to be rating them on those dimensions, and at the end we're going to give the Mountain House emergency food supply a total score. So in doing this assessment of the 14-day food supply, basically I'm just taking all of the food into the account when I do that. So I'm not focusing on any specific entree like biscuits and gravy or the breakfast skillet or chicken fried rice or anything like that. I'm focusing on all of it as a whole. So on all the dimensions of taste, the Mountain House wins hands down. It's warm, there's a lot of natural stuff in it. There's sweetness to it, there's a saltiness, there's the diversity, there's the novelty of the different types that you would get within the 14-day food supply, or the 2-day or 4-day or 5-day or 3-day, whichever one you choose. You're going to get a nice diversity of contents. It's going to have a high repetitive eating factor because every time you eat it, it's going to be different. And it definitely can be mixed with your other staples. So you could easily mix a lot of this stuff with your staples of rice if you wanted to stretch it a bit further. Now the price per calorie for Mountain House in these individual servings, or in this 14-day food supply, is going to be a lot less. Now their most calorie dense meal is the mac and cheese, and that's going to get you about 1,000 calories per package, which is going to run you about $10, and I'm talking Canadian, so it might be a little less American. So if we're using American dollars, we're going to say you're getting about maybe 120 to 150 calories per dollar spent, which is really on the lower end of the spectrum in terms of cost efficiency. So for this category, I'm only giving it a 2 out of 10. Now the longevity gets a 9 out of 10. Now, the one thing I like about Mountain House is they put a 12-year taste test guarantee on their food. So even though it's going to last a lot longer than that, they're basically guaranteeing the quality of the taste 100% for 12 years. After that, the taste of it might degrade, although it will still be nutritious for 25, maybe even 30 years. Now, for storage requirements, I gave it an 8 out of 10. And the only reason why it lost a couple points is because it's individually packaged. So this is to its detriment when we're talking about storage. And that's only with these 5-day, 14-day food supplies. So chances are, if you are buying long-term Mountain House storage food, you're going to be buying it in larger bulk amounts, and you're probably not going to be buying it in these denominations that we have here. So this might not even be too relevant, but then again, it still does take up more space than, say, a bucket of rice would take. But other than that, the storage requirements are pretty minimal, just the usual: store in a cool, dry place. And even if it isn't in a cool, dry place, I mean, it's in Mylar bags, so chances are moisture is not going to be able to get in there to affect the food and prevent those microorganisms from growing in there, which is the benefit of freeze-dried food in and of itself. All right, now in terms of preparation, I gave it a 7 out of 10, and the only reason why I gave it a 7 out of 10, it immediately loses 2 points because you need water. So this is something where an MRE might be handy because it really is a standalone food source, whereas things like rice and even freeze-dried food require a certain amount of water in order to rehydrate them. Not all of Mountain House foods require water, but they're definitely going to require water to digest anyways. So regardless, you're going to need water there. Now, one of the things that won it some points was that you can actually eat it in the packets. You can simply pour the water in the packets, and because you need heat energy to heat up the water to expedite the process and speed up the cooking time, that also lost it a point, although you don't necessarily have to do that, but then that's going to compromise the taste and other factors. So in terms of micronutrients, the micronutrient profile is very good. I gave it a 7 out of 10, and the only reason why, because I've had a lot of feedback about the high sodium content, which is important. I don't think this is necessarily something you're going to have to worry about for a short term or even medium term situation where you're just trying to stay alive and you have ample amounts of water to flush that sodium out of your body. It's not going to be the end of the world. We probably consume just as much sodium with the processed foods we eat nowadays anyways. All right, in terms of macronutrients, it gets a 9 out of 10. You're going to get your proteins, your carbs, your fats. That's one thing about Mountain House. They don't go stingy on the meat aspect or on the protein aspect. You get a lot of protein in there, so that's really what you're looking for in terms of macronutrients. And I think some of their egg dishes, like their breakfast skillet and their scrambled eggs, are going to have a high biological value, so that's going to be readily absorbed very easily by your body, the proteins in those entrees. Now, in terms of accessibility, I give it a 5 out of 10, and that's only because it is hard to find Mountain House, relatively speaking. I mean, you can't just pick it up at your local grocery store. It's starting to become more available. Like in Canada, you can get it at Canadian Tire. You may be able to get it at Walmart, but if you do, there isn't a really big selection. It's pretty limited. So a lot of this is special order. You got to order it online. So that's why it got 5 out of 10. It's not like rice or salt where you can just go down to the corner store and pick up a bag. In terms of the durability, I gave it an 8 out of 10. Not as durable and rugged packaging like the MREs. The fact that they're individually packaged, the cans are pretty sturdy when you do buy the bigger bulk can. The Mylar bags are pretty durable. I haven't had any puncture problems with the bags. You can even get vacuum sealed versions, so really good stuff. In terms of the barterability, I think it's great in this respect because they are so lightweight and they are individually packed. And I just think the site of Mountain House, they've done such a great job with the marketing aspect. Any chef you talk to will tell you how much presentation factors into taste and how much packaging in general factors into how we consume a product. And Mountain House has really done that. Even the name Mountain House is appetizing, and you're not going to have any problems bartering with Mountain House. In fact, this is probably going to be the post-disaster cuisine which is only had by the most elitist amongst the Bartertown residents in the post-disaster environment. Now, in terms of versatility, I gave it a 4 out of 10. Now, this is a very hard category to ever get a 10 out of 10. The only ingestible food or substance that I could say might be close to a 10 out of 10 might be something like salt or honey. But it gets a 4 out of 10 here because it can be used, the Mylar bags themselves can be used to, put stuff in afterwards. So you don't actually have to throw out that bag. You can reuse it. You can store other stuff in it. You can have a waterproof bag or whatever you might need. So it gets a 4 out of 10. I must say, overall, I am absolutely impressed with Mountain House, how I've been treated throughout this whole process. If my interactions over the past couple months with one of their representatives is any indication of the level of quality of customer service of the company as a whole, then I have absolutely no issue referring you to go and buy some of this stuff, because yes, it's a little more pricey and it's not something you're probably going to want to stockpile in mad amounts because it is expensive. But if you grab yourself one of these 5-day emergency food supplies, that's something that can really boost morale. It can spice things up. And this is something that even if, nothing ever happens, you're going to eat it and it's not going to be a task to eat. I actually look forward to eating this stuff. That's how good it is. So now a few things that fell a little short of my expectations. Number one was the mac and cheese, because I really was looking forward to this one, and I figured, it's pretty hard to mess up mac and cheese. And I think what the problem is that when you make mac and cheese, when you buy it out of the box, when you buy Kraft Dinner or something like that, you cook the noodles first and then you put the powder in afterwards. Well, with this, it's cooking it all as one thing. So maybe if Mountain House or these other companies who do this freeze-dried stuff had a system by which they gave you a package and that contained the milk product stuff, the cheese, and all those other ingredients, and separated that so you didn't have to cook it all at once. So you could just rehydrate your macaroni and then cook it as you would Kraft Dinner or something to that effect. I think that would be a lot better than the system they have here, because it does tend to be a bit runny, and I would only give it maybe a 4 or 5 out of 10. That said, that would probably be the same from any other company that attempted to make mac and cheese in such a way. The biscuits and gravy with pork patty crumbles, that's ambitious unto itself. So I gotta give them some props for trying it, but to me it was just kind of mushy nonsense, and I didn't really like it. It does have some taste to it, like it's not as bad as you would probably think, but it's about as, it pretty much is about what I thought it would be. The quality that you get here is absolutely phenomenal. And like I say, I've tried some other stuff which hasn't impressed me. The only thing that's impressed me about it is the price point. So I'm going to talk a bit more about that stuff in the near future. But I would strongly suggest that you look into the Mountain House food. You will not be disappointed. I'm going to post a few links below if you would like to support the channel and pick some up through that link. That would be great. Alright, so we're here on the YouTube random comment picker, and we're going to pick a winner of the Mountain House 5-day emergency food supply. Paste that in there. It's going to load some comments. There was 730 total likes and 601 comments. Randomly pick a winner. So the winner is... I cannot spell that name, so I won't try. I'm a novice prepper and looking for any type of food to store, and I absolutely love Mountain House. It is the tastiest and the best variety. I unfortunately can't buy bulk online because I don't have a credit card, but will definitely buy more when I do. But this would be the perfect opportunity to boost my survivability. And I love your videos. Thanks for the opportunity. Alright, well, whatever your name is, congratulations. You've won the prize. Talk to you soon. I'll be in touch. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Canadian Prepper out. Check out the Canadian Preppers Network blog, an excellent resource for survivalists and preppers.